I would like to ask you about senior week and senior brunch, because I've heard a lot of rumors about it, and I don't know how much you know or if anything has even been finalized yet. But I've heard that there was an issue with senior week last year where the budget was overspent by something like $30,000, and so this year they completely revamped it. Do you know anything about that?
I know that there were issues last year, but the person that you really would have to ask about that is Dean Alford.
Okay.
Because I don't know that I ever even knew the details. But all I can tell you from, 9.5 or 10 months ago is that there were some, I guess we would call them control issues about the finances and what's the most appropriate thing for the seniors to do. We do more here, certainly, than any of the 4 schools that I've been involved with. I was, quite frankly, astonished to find out all of the things that we did. Buses going off to casinos. This is way beyond Washington University SMU or Kalamazoo.
Okay, well, I will send that question to Dean Alford then.
Dean Alford would be the right source because he's right on top of the information, and he would have a far more knowledgeable base to comprehend even what the bases of the questions might be in order to give you a square answer.
Okay, well, then my backup question is, I know...
Since I did a little bit.
I know you won't come out and endorse any political candidate or anything like that, so I'm not going to ask you about that, but due to the nature of the primaries this year, people have been calling into question our whole political system, how we handle the primaries, just as people call into question the Electoral College back in 2000 and even 2004. What is your take on the current political system for how we have
I think it's probably a shame that so much of the choice of the candidate for both parties is made so far in advance, so that Super Tuesday turns out to be some sort of almost a coronation event. I think that's really troubling if the whole goal of democracy is to try to find the right number of candidates, have their views known by the electorate, and then have the electorate go out and decide who should be the president of the United States. Now, the whole electoral college thing has to do with what happened when the Federalists put together the Constitution to protect states like Rhode Island as opposed to Pennsylvania, since Rhode Island was tiny and Pennsylvania, even at the time, basically the eastern seaboard being the populated side of it, to protect the sovereignty of the states. Now, since you've given me a platform to talk about the election, the main thing that I hope that all of you will do is to be concerned citizens and vote. I keep trying to find ways of making absolutely certain that each one of you who can cast the ballot does. One of the things that I think has hurt my generation, your parents' generation, the most is the cynicism that followed what happened to us when we were your age. And there are 2 wonderful books by Arthur Levine, who now heads the Woodrow Wilson Foundation, who was formerly the president of Teachers College at Columbia, on generational shifts and what happened, especially to those of us who are your parents' generation, when we went from being idealistic to cynics, and that happened within a period of only about 7 years, from the idealism of Kennedy's being inaugurated to the cynicism of Richard Nixon being inaugurated. What happened to us was pretty shattering. And I keep hoping, in certain senses, the whole Obama phenomenon seems to be igniting political passions on the part of the young. And I think most of us who try to run schools cheer just at the thought that there is somebody who's igniting some sense of idealism in the young who've got to do a better job than we're doing when it's your time to be running the show.
So do you think the system needs to be changed, or?
Well, I don't think the system will be changed, not in the media-deafened world in which we live in which you guys have come of age. Nothing's going to happen to suit the phenomenon of Super Tuesday. Not with the way the media interacts with the political process today. And as bizarre as the Electoral College is, and in a certain sense it does look like some sort of hangover from yesteryear, and yesteryear being 1776, and the 13 original colonies that became states, I think probably nothing will happen about it. Should it be changed? There are certainly people who think that it should just go on a straight popular election. I guess there are a lot of people who are upset about what happened in 2000 and 2004 that would say that how can you win an election and then lose it at the same time? It's a bizarre commentary upon the way. But the structures are there, and the Electoral College is not going to go away.
All right. Thank you very much.
So you're going to come to see me with